me, "You're a bishop?" And I answered, "You could say that." And he responded, "Well, you're not like any bishop I've ever known." And I replied, "And isn't that a good thing? Because the reality is, I don't want to be like most of the bishops that I know. Not at all. I know this might be difficult to believe, but I always haven't had a very good experience with bishops. I just, it was, it was a challenge. I mean, the one bishop, he expected people to kiss his ring. And he would prefer if they would kiss his ring on a bended knee. And I remember the first time he held out his hand to me like this, and I took it and shook it. There was no way I was going to kiss his ring. And his outfit? Boy, his wardrobe would make so many divas just incredibly jealous. And then his crozier, his gold crozier had so many gems that if you watch his live stream services, he has special altar servers who are wearing white gloves so they don't get fingerprints and tarnish his golden crozier. I am not that type of bishop. In fact, it's so interesting when people forget to call me bishop and then apologize to me. You don't have to apologize to me. I'm so not into titles. Call me bishop, fine. Call me father, fine. Call me brother, fine. Call me pastor, fine. I'd be really happy with just Jim, okay? That would be good for me too. I'm not into all those titles. You don't see me running around with my gold crozier, do you? Because my crozier is a stick, okay? When I was given the crozier, when I was consecrated as a bishop, my crozier actually came from an agricultural supply company, and it's what they use for moving sheep. It's authentic. It's an actual, what do you call that, shepherd's crook? That's a shepherd's crook. I have an actual shepherd. That's more of the kind of bishop I am, because the reality is I'm not into the outfits. I'm not into the whole kiss my ring thing. I'm not into the lord it over. I agreed to become a bishop so that I could better serve this part of the country and their sacramental needs. To serve in a way I couldn't serve as a priest. To serve how? Well, look at this beautiful celebration. To bring others into service. To bring others into serving the church. So, you now have a better understanding. When you're trying to understand my whole understanding of the title of bishop, you now have a better understanding of how Jesus probably felt when he was given the title of a king. How do you think Jesus responded to that title? Well, we hear in today's Gospel of John, chapter 18, verse 37, Pilate asked Jesus, "Then you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth." You say I am a king. Well, the challenge with the written language is that sentence takes on a totally different meaning depending on what word you put the emphasis. So let me give you an example. If you saw the written words, I didn't say you kicked the dog, what does that mean to you? If you saw the written words, I didn't say you kicked the dog, what would that mean to you? Well, the interesting thing is that sentence takes on totally different meanings depending on where you put the emphasis. So if you said, I didn't say you kicked the dog, that's different than I didn't say you kicked the dog, which is different than I didn't say you kicked the dog, which is different than I didn't say you kicked the dog, which is different than I didn't say you kicked the dog, which is totally different than I didn't say you kicked the dog. Well, then who did you kick? I mean, you see how the same written words have different meaning depending on where you put the emphasis. So Jesus said, you say I am a king. You say I'm a king. You say I'm a king? Because Jesus doesn't say, yes, I am a king. Again, the next sentence, for this I was born, and for this I came into the world to testify to the truth. He's saying, I am not here to be your understanding of a king. I'm here to testify to the truth. And the reality is, how truthful are many of our human leaders? Are our human leaders known for their truthfulness? Is that the kind of king we want to have? It's amazing now that if you ever watch the presentations and the talks of so many of our political leaders, what do you call that, ticker taping or something? Boy, I'm really old. That little stuff that goes along the bottom of the TV, what do you call those little, scrolling along? As the leader is talking, they're fact-checking what's being said. You notice that? It's like, was I just lied to? But do I trust those people who are doing the ticker taping along the bottom too? You see, if we go to human leaders seeking the truth, I don't know if that's the wisest thing to do. The reality is we're celebrating Jesus as a type of king who comes to witness to the truth, that helps us to find the truth. He is the type of leader for our lives, somebody who could guide us into the truth. In fact, he makes it very clear in the Gospel of John. Jesus said, everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice. You see, when we listen to the voice of Jesus and actually hear what he's saying and apply it in our lives, then we're going to belong to the truth. Not to some political party, not to some, progressive or conservative or some group or clique or, no. We're belonging to something greater. We're belonging to the truth. We're belonging to Jesus. This is who we're being called to lead our lives, to have as our King. And when we put our faith and trust in Jesus, that's a faith and trust that'll never come to an end. Never come to an end, because the reality is, with human leaders, what is it? 4-year term? And then you have the circus start all over again? And another 4-year term? And another circus? And another 4? I mean, who could you put your faith in when in 4 years you don't even know what's going to be happening? Well, we heard in the book of Revelation today, chapter 1, verse 8, I am the Alpha and the Omega, says the Lord God, the one who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. Jesus is the beginning and the end of our lives. Jesus always has been and always will be. He is somebody that we can put our hope and faith and trust in eternally. He is the unending truth. He is the unending King. So if we struggle with titles, as I do, and if we struggle on this feast day of Christ the King with that title King, know that Jesus redefined what it means for him to be a king. For him, it's coming to witness to the truth, so that each and every one of us can belong to the truth. Let us recommit ourselves today to having Jesus as the beginning and the end of our lives, having Jesus as the leader of our lives, following him and his truth, hearing what he has to say and applying it in our lives.